This is the Run Recap.
Oh man. Okay, so should we just kind of jump right into it?
Probably should. I guess, you know, we
Uh,
we left we left our last one with a cliffhanger, so
yeah.
we can
So
we got something to talk about right away.
I wanna throw out a caveat real quick, or not
Uh-huh.
a caveat, an explanation
Okay.
for for uh the intention behind what we did last week.
hmm
Um, the the catalyst. And I feel like we explained this in the last one, but just in case there was any confusion, the
Well,
catalyst.
and there was a lot of feedback, so I think it's good to
Yeah.
address some things. Yeah.
Yeah, so the catalyst of that challenge was simply because, which we did, I know we talked about, was the discrepancy between the difficulty of most of those challenges and the running. We felt like there was a big discrepancy. Like
Yeah.
most of them were moderate to very hard, and the
hmm
running seemed across the board in comparison very easy. Right?
Right. Yeah, it doesn't
Not
mean
to say
everyone could do the running,
no, not
but
at all.
I do think with what we talked from talking to people, the feedback I got was so most of these we're going to push as hard as you can to get some of those things. Other
Right.
ones, you're going to work pretty hard still. And the feedback I got was on the running one, everyone said, "Oh, if I have to put maximum effort, I can do that for sure."
Right.
And almost
Exactly.
everyone I know can too. You
Yes.
know, if you're in moderate shape, you know, if push comes to shove and you got to put in a 10-minute mile, you can do it.
Yeah.
And
And,
you don't need
and
to be, yeah. But at the same time, the farmers carry.
yeah. Well, so before we get into that, let's not get there yet.
Sure.
The other aspect of it is these are not, in our opinion, like um a well-rounded fitness test.
hmm
So
Right.
this is simply a random thing I came across, and the I without knowing, I don't really know who it was that I got this from, but it was
Sure.
just a random post online. But I know from the things that were included, it was a adaptation of Dr. Peter Attia, who is like the
Mhm.
leading longevity expert, of his benchmarks as signs for longevity and living a
Right.
long time, right? So I know
Mhm.
it's based on that.
Right.
I'm not saying I necessarily agree with all of those things, or people should be able to do all of these things,
Mhm.
but I know that that's where this guy, whoever he is, got most of it, right?
Yeah.
Specifically the dead hang, which Peter Attia has actually, I think he's gotten rid of, but the
Mhm.
farmer's carry, um, the uh, the pull up, the push up. I think the push up for sure, not the pull up, but the push up for sure. Um, and I think the squat is something different now. But anyway, so like
Mhm.
that's where it came from. This is not
Right.
our opinion on what we think is like a well-rounded fit
Yeah,
a
not at all.
goal,
Real
right?
honestly, I would put it drastically different personally. But
Of
it does, I
course.
think a little bit of the point was also like, hey, let's take this thing on the internet because we are constantly bombarded with things from the internet of the, you know, I saw one the other day and they posted a picture of, or they had like the video. You remember in Spider-Man, he gets bit by a spider, the Tobey Maguire one, right?
Yeah.
He wakes
Yeah.
up the next morning, he's like, whoa, I got muscles, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And because we sit here and look at Instagram now, and everyone's huge and oftentimes photoshopped, right? So you
Yeah.
have, and perfect lighting, you got all these things making everyone look beyond superhero. They showed
Right.
that, and the point was, he's like, this was a good physique. Remember seeing this and being like, look, this guy's ripped, you know? And now we're
Exactly.
looking at it and like, oh, he's just skinny. You know, maybe he should like eat and work out a little bit or something, you know, because it's all
Yeah.
changed our view of this. And then he even showed like when Captain America first came out. And I remember like Captain America again, he gets his muscles and he comes out and
Yeah.
like that's a good physique. And then when he showed it again, same thing was like, I mean, yeah, he's in good shape, but I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
It's like we've
Right.
moved the bar because we're bombarded with this thing. Anyway, I think this is just a good example of, you know, it's fun to play with, but man, you got to remember why are things being posted? They're being posted. So why are you seeing them? You're seeing them because people looked at it longer or commented on it or shared it. Well, that means it has to be an outlier to begin with for it to even go there. So it has to be something fantastic. It has to be something beyond normal
Right.
by a significant amount for it to get seen at all, or at least really unique. And anyway, so I just thought that fit in perfectly where, yeah, this thing was like, the reason this probably got shared is because it's not even.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Because it is controversial. Where it's
So
like, yeah, some of these things make no
yeah.
sense at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought being a above average fit person, I feel like they were, they were all reasonable of things that you could achieve.
Sure.
Right. There's certain aspects of it that I don't put a lot of pressure on and don't exercise, like the farmer's carries. I don't do them very often, so that's not going to be a strong one for me. But like, you see, like, yeah, I could train up to that, up to where I could be.
And I didn't see anything unhealthy for you. So
No,
if
no,
you
no.
could do all these things, oh yeah, it's probably great being able to get that, farmer's carry to 2 minutes. Probably a really good thing for you. Actually,
Yeah.
It might not be your focus, and if it's not your focus, you're not pulling that off.
Right. Okay. So let's start at the simple one. Did you do
Yeah.
your a 10-minute mile?
So I did all of them. Yeah, I did the 10, and I planned. My week got away from me, as it does. You're thinking, oh, I'm going to do. Here's 5 days in a row that are all going to work like this, and then like 2 of the days completely just could not. But another day I did a run. I ran.
Of course.
I ran 6 miles at 6:30 pace, and so
Right.
anyway, yeah.
So you accomplished your 10-minute mile under
Yeah, accomplished my
10
10-minute mile. Yeah, obviously no problem.
Excellent.
I wanted to just go run 1 mile, and I thought, I'm just going to go and see how fast I can run a mile, and I didn't get around to it. So I need to check in on a mile PR sometime soon, but I have no idea. Yeah.
Did you complete 25 unbroken push-ups?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and we've done
Good.
a lot of push-ups lately. I mean, I'm not
Right.
doing like I'm totally not consistent, but I still do it. Yeah, no problem at all. I'm
25.
sure
Okay.
yeah,
Good.
you did a couple push-ups too, I think.
Yep, I did 25 push-ups. Yep, I did the number. Did you complete 5 pull-ups?
Yes. Yeah, and 5 pull-ups
Okay.
also. Piece of
There
cake.
we go. Okay,
Right.
so now and then what was left? The back squat. How'd the back squat go?
Back squat was tough for me. I don't squat. I don't squat with very much weight very often, and so that was really heavy for me. I did get 3 of them. So
3 of your body weight.
At body weight, did 3 down far enough. I mean, they weren't. I like to do them really low, but they were low enough to count for sure.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
absolutely.
couldn't go. I couldn't go all the way down like I like to with lighter weights, but yeah, but it worked just
That's
fine.
good. And then the dead hang. How's the dead hang for you?
Couldn't do it. No, I got
Really?
90 seconds. And I
Wow.
felt at 1 minute, felt totally comfortable. No big deal at all. I probably could have pumped out some chin-ups even, I felt just fine at 1 minute. And then next 30 seconds deteriorated really fast. And so I was hanging there and the shoulders started to really start to hurt around like a minute and 15 seconds. And then that last 15 seconds to go from minute 15 to minute 30, everything started to fall apart and my grip just let go completely. Like I didn't quit. It quit. Like it just couldn't do it. Now I'd be curious because I mean, obviously that was a grip thing and I'd be curious to do it again in rock climbing season. I would assume at other times this would be a piece of cake for me, but I haven't done much with grip in a long time outside of doing some chin-ups. I do some chin-ups 3 times a week, but not a significant amount.
I'm actually surprised that you didn't get that one because even like that one for me was I felt what you're describing. Minute was nothing, right?
Right.
And 90 seconds was very hard, but getting to 2 minutes wasn't like I'm not gonna make it. It was I could do maybe 10 more seconds if I like fail where I'm dropping like you're describing, but that'd be it. So like 2 minutes was hard, but it was still in the realm of like, yeah, this is attainable without training for it. And I don't do, maybe I do more chin-ups than you do, but I don't do much grip specific stuff.
Right. Yeah. And, a dead hang is not the same type of grip I noticed as my chin-ups, right? Because with all the movement, you're really gripping and then you're kind of releasing. Like doing chin-ups, you actually get a little bit of a break. And I kind of wonder if I could have done it if I did like 1 chin-up every 15 seconds.
Yeah.
That actually would have been easier.
Well, what's funny is I I don't know how you grip your bar. When I do chin-ups, or pull-ups, not chin-ups, I do a hook grip. So I go over the top and my
Yeah.
thumb is on this side, right? So I
Right.
don't go around with the thumb. And for these, I mean, I got chalk out and I went like thumb locked into the finger. Like I went not over gripping, but like I went to like, okay, let's get as secure as possible on this
Sure.
and to minimize forearm fatigue. And I think that was smart. I think it was very beneficial, but I also
Yeah.
wonder, I'm like, I never do pull-ups that way. I always do a
Right.
different grip. So
Well,
you know,
and I do my pull-ups. Actually, I do them down like here, so my bottom finger
right.
part.
Oh
So
yeah,
I do
that's
my
what I'm
pull-ups
saying.
really loose. Like I don't even put it in the palm of my hand. I do it down on, not quite on my fingertips, but just a knuckle in from there. And that's where I do my pull-ups because I'm always kind of training for climbing. So I want to make sure so then I am training my finger strength. Right. And then with gripping all the way around, like you described, that's what I did too. It's like, okay, I'm going to give it everything I've got. That was not a normal grip for me at all outside of like lifting dumbbells,
Yeah.
So
right.
anyway, so maybe that was a bit too, where it's like, oh, I did a totally different thing, thinking I would make that easier for myself. Some chalk would have helped for sure. I was on a somewhat slick bar.
Yeah.
And so not bad, but
it makes a big difference. So like the bar we have here at the gym that I did it on is this bar has been here since we were here as pro fans. Like there was a CrossFit gym here before us for like maybe a year, like just barely. And that's what this bar is from. So this bar has been used for 16 years or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like very well, not slippery, but like it's like really worn in. And I got chalk anyway. I'm like, just in case, because like, yeah, the slipperiness of a bar makes a big difference. Like those grips on certain machines like are rubber, and they like are just worn down, so there's slippery rubber on it. Like, those are the worst.
Yeah. Well, and in rock climbing, that is the thing that you learn to do, is you learn to lessen your grip actually to save your hands and use your skin. Like you just are using chalky skin and you make the skin hang on as much as you can, and you try not to grip.
Back to Spider-Man, you know? You gotta
get little things popping on your fingers.
Exactly, little spikes. That's a Tobey Maguire reference too, like that specific one where the spikes popped out of his fingers. That was hilarious. Okay, so what about the so back squat was good.
There's a farmer's carry.
Farmer's carry, that's the only one left.
Yeah. And in farmer's carry, it worked exactly like the dead hang did for me. So exact same thing. I made it, again, first minute felt pretty good. And then it deteriorated real quick. And at 90 seconds, I didn't involuntarily drop because they would have fallen on my feet. And,
right, of course.
That was a lot of weight. Man, it feels like so much weight. Like walking around with your body weight on your hands. Like, I did the right thing and didn't wear running shoes. So I wore like skate shoes. So it's like, set that up all right and walked around the whole time. And that was shockingly hard. But 2 minutes was not going to happen. It was like, oh, they're going to drop. Okay, I better actually let them down before they fall on a toe or something like that.
Yeah. Did you make it minute and a half?
Minute and a half, I made it like on the dot, minute and a half. Yeah, how about you?
I don't remember. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't more than a minute and a half for sure. I'm not sure I made it to a minute and a half, to be honest. It was like minute 15 maybe. And I did it either a day or two after the dead hang.
Okay.
I didn't feel sore in my arms, but just in case, I was like, don't do it same day. Just in case.
I did the same thing but reverse. So I did my carry first, then my and they honestly they both failed in the exact same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and felt very similar when they failed too.
Yeah, it wasn't, it was like kind of thing where I could have made it. If I went to failure, I could have made it 10, 15 more seconds, but I'm like, I'm not going to make it 2 minutes.
Right.
That's very clear. So
and it proved
this
the point,
is far
right?
enough.
It proved the point. Okay, we can't do this part.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But. Yeah, so that was a fun challenge. I don't put a lot of weight on any of those things. Farmer's carry. Well, Christy was asking me like if it can be gloves or not, right? Can it be with grips? And obviously for this challenge and the overall purpose of what the point of doing these is grip strength. So it's like no, that doesn't work for this. But
Yeah.
using grips for a farmer's carry, because the farmer's carry is a great exercise in general. It's like, yeah, that's not cheating. Just in this instance, it is.
And it would work your grip a little bit less, right? But think of all the other things, because my grip failed. Okay, well, I could actually work other parts of my body using the same exercise a lot longer if I did use grips, and so there could be some validity for sure.
Right, and like my grip is good. My grip is very strong because we were talking about a different challenge with deadlifts and other things we can get into later. But so I went just to kind of do a cold. I didn't warm up at all. A cold test of a deadlift, and like holding 300 pounds. I know 285 wasn't quite 3, but like I can hold high 2s, low 3s with my grip, no problem. Like my grip is very, very strong. It's just the endurance of the grip. So I question the importance of the duration of the grip strength, because that's just endurance, where the whole point of it for a longevity perspective is like being able to grip something, right? Being able to grip quickly because you're going to be a fall or something, so you can grab on quick. But why the 2 minutes? You know what I mean? It's I can grip real heavy for up to a minute, or 30 seconds, which should be long enough in most instances if you're like protecting yourself, If
you really think about it, 30 seconds is a very long time.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually, so that brings me to the point that like the hardest thing for me with doing, I do bar at least once a week, sometimes, most of the time twice a week. And man, the type of strength that I have compared to what these women have is so different. And that's what makes these so difficult, and also probably really good for me, right? Because it's just, it's doing things that I can't do naturally very well. So it's filling in a lot of gaps, and I have found it really beneficial. I also found that in a lot of areas, I don't improve. I've been doing this for a year and a half now, and I'm not getting better in a lot of places at all. So, anyways, like the side leg lifts, right? No, I'm not better than I ever was. I keep doing them because again, it is working some muscles I don't work, so it's probably a great thing for me. But I don't have any improvement here at all. I still like cramping up pretty quick, and it's not working. But the other one that's funny though is it's that high repetition, low weight, or just holding is so hard. So there's times, like holding your arms out in making a W shape with your arms, right?
Yep.
And having weights on the end or not, or whatever. And then just kind of keeping them there or bouncing them a little bit, or, just holding, or, spreading them out, bringing them back, that type of motion. But basically the arms staying up the whole time, man. And I have very strong shoulders, I promise.
Well,
but not that type.
Not for that,
No. So can I lift a pretty significant amount of weight straight up with my arms using my shoulders? Yeah, absolutely I can. Can I just hold my arms with like 3-pound weights out there for a minute? Nope. Bounce them a little bit? No, I can't do that at all, actually.
And that's where strength is relative, fitness is relative to what you're trying to accomplish. If you dial all the way back to the most simplest form of being fit for me, from my life perspective, is always, can I push myself? Can I pull myself? Can I get up? And can I get away? So can I pull up, push up, squat, and run? Like that's to me, like that's the basics. And like then the reality of how much I can do any of those is dependent upon my motivation. But like as long as I can like stand up, and push myself off the ground and pull myself up a thing and then get away from somebody, like I'm good. Like that's fit. That's plenty. But like you're saying, like, lifting a really heavy weight over your head, but then pulsating with just the small stuff. Yeah, it's right. If you've never done that and used to it, it's going to take a long time for your body to adapt those type of muscle fibers to do that.
And I've been doing it for a long time, and it's very slow to adapt.
Really slow,
I'm sure that's an area where I think is probably getting better, but it's very slow. I don't know how true this is. It feels like it's little muscles around the big muscles that I'm trying to work out, and those little muscles take way longer to where my bigger muscles, I can get them way stronger really fast. Yeah. And little muscles take a long time to develop. And I have no clue if that's true, but that's the picture in my head that I feel like is what's happening.
Well, and the reality is it's kind of teaching old dog new tricks where it's not unattainable. It's just you didn't do this type of stuff when you were developing most of your muscle. And
Right.
so it doesn't know how to do it. So it's more of in my opinion, it's more of a memory thing than a specific fiber thing. It's like, well, your muscles are like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. We know how to do these 4 things. We've done them for 40 plus years. I don't know how to do this. So it's going to take like, a few years. It's like people that get into lifting for the first time in their 40s. You're like,
Right.
they're like, why is my progress going so slow? It's like, well, you've never done this before. Like, you can't go from never doing a pull-up in your entire life, and then at 45, you're like, I'm going to do 10 pull-ups this year. It's like, well, maybe not.
Pull-ups are really hard.
They're
And
very hard.
I think we often don't think of them as that hard because it's like, because you're not thinking about the weight that you're actually doing, right? So like, for instance, a body weight squat, right? So obviously you're actually moving a little bit more than your body weight because you have your upper body and you have all this other weight there too. But a chin up is kind of like doing the opposite with just your arms,
right?
Way smaller than your legs, and but you're still pulling your full body weight multiple times.
Your legs are very heavy as far as your overall body weight. So doing a body weight squat, you're lifting up, somewhere between like 40 and 60% of your body weight, right? Whereas a pull up, you're lifting, 80% of your body weight,
right?
Somewhere like that, depending upon the person. And then also, if you've just never done it, like that's, I hear the excuse a lot, like, well, I used to do pull-ups a lot as a kid. I'm like, oh, really? As a kid, you did lots of pull-ups? Like, well, no, but I climbed things. I'm like, well, that's not the same thing.
No, you got legs and leverage and all kinds of other things happening. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. It's not the same at all.
Yeah, when you're out climbing, you could do the equivalent of 150 pull-ups, kind of, except you got legs and you're off center and you're doing all kinds of other leverage things. It's in the vicinity. It's not the same though. That's for sure.
How did you? I didn't really follow up on some of the Facebook comments and stuff. Did anyone talk about how you hear any feedback of how people did, how hard it was, or anyone else?
Well, the second half of the week, lots of complaints about the different parts, and all kinds of discussion. It was a good discussion, real honestly, because it did exactly what we were talking about. It's like, oh, this is here's a thing. Like, what do we think about this? And so, anyway, it was fun. It's possible that some people thought this was our idea, that we think this is good for people or whatever. No, not really. It's just a thing. But I don't know. I think a lot of people said they were going to try it, and I don't know that anyone pulled through. If they did, they just didn't say that they did or what happened there at all. So
they didn't want to admit failure or something.
Hey, and there was a lot of failure. Like I had no problem with that. I have some videos I still wanted to put together and post. And I just, that takes a long time to put together and didn't get around to it. But I'll probably still do it. I'll get it together. But but then so then I want to since we're right there, take this to the next part of how stupid the internet is, because that's just the theme for right now. Okay, so the internet is this stupid, is that they do that, and then you can just say anything, right? You say anything and anything goes. And so Mike Atkins sent a video, I sent it to you, of like the top 5% of men can do that. You're in the top 5% if you can do these things. And we're looking through it, like, no, it's not. I know 100 guys. I for sure know 100 guys well. I know 100 very fit guys, right? Not super fit. I know 100 healthy guys, for sure. For sure, right? And I probably know easily, comfortably 25 that are actually in real good shape.
Yeah.
And so this is, so on top of that, and then really, okay, since top 5%, that means I must know at least 5 people that can do this, right? And I was looking through the thing, and like, I don't think I know anyone that can do all of this. Like, maybe you can. It'd be tough. I for sure can't. So is this the top 5% of guys? Or is this the top 0.05% of guys? Because literally, I mean, just Facebook friends alone. I have 1,000 friends on Facebook. 500 of them are men, I'm sure. And out of those 500, I don't know anyone that can do this.
Well, okay, remind me what it is again.
I don't remember exactly, but man, the amounts that it had on everything, I think it was... oh, geez, I would have to pull it up and see.
Okay,
but I think it's more just the overall point of like, okay, if you can run a 6-minute mile, can you squat twice your body weight? That kind of a thing. And it had just like pretty large numbers, and I was looking through them.
It was a 14 point something 100 meters.
Oh yeah, it was a 14 second. It was a 14 second flat.
Minutes 15 400. 1.5 your body weight squat. 2 times body weight deadlift, and the mile was a 7-minute.
I think it was a 6. Quite sure it was a
6-minute.
6.
I don't think it
Yeah.
was down to 6.
Because I remember thinking
6:30 maybe.
Because I remember thinking, you're not running a 6-minute mile and a 14-second. Well, you might do all that. You might do both those. You could do a 14-second 100.
I can do the
And a
running
6-minute mile.
stuff. The running stuff, I can 100% do all of it.
I can't run 100 that fast, can I? I probably can't. I don't think I can do a 14-second 100.
I bet you could.
Maybe.
I bet you get close.
It'd be
I bet you get
close.
close.
I know I can be in the vicinity. All the rest of the running I could do. But then I was thinking, okay, but if I can do all this running, can I do that deadlift? Like,
The deadlift is hard. So this is you sent this to me, and I don't remember all the specifics of it, but this summer I'm going to do all of those 100%.
Yeah.
And
and to that point, I think you can, and I think I could too with a lot of training. Again, the speed really might be closer. With a lot of training, I could get there. I'd have to spend 4 or 5 months working on it, but I could get there. But does that put me in the top 5%, or does that put me in the top 0.05%? You know?
Yeah, it might
Like
be. It
that,
depends.
that's where
So
it's like, there's no way this top 5%. That does not make any sense to me.
it depends.
At all.
I mean, let's assume that this is real data, right? It's not.
Mhm.
It's just
Right.
something made up, right? But let's assume it's real data, and it means they're pulling from, like, are they pulling from worldwide men, or are they pulling from American men? Are they pulling from like adult men to what age?
Right.
You know, because or are they saying like we're pulling from adult men from 20 to 50? You know, like in that range in America. You know, if it's like age 20 to 50 in America, yeah, it could be 5%.
Maybe.
If we're worldwide, I would say it's 0.5.
Yeah,
probably.
worldwide. And if you open the age bracket to all men, no, not at all.
Yeah, no,
So we're saying like
0.001
18,
maybe
18 years old to 100, you know? Like,
Yeah.
no, for sure not.
Because like as much as I can, so working in the fitness industry, I'm surrounded by a lot of really fit people.
Yeah.
And a lot of friends over the years that could do, it really comes down to the running, which is funny.
Right.
Like I have a lot of friends that could do the push-up, because I don't remember what the push-ups and pull-ups were, but they were substantial too. It was 15 pull-ups and 50 push-ups.
Something like that.
Something. Okay, but something like that. And
So
so
he's
like
right around there.
push-ups,
So again, I can do those. That's pushing it for me, but I can.
Yeah.
But it's pushing.
Yeah. Push-up, pull-up, squat, deadlift. I know, like, I have a lot of people I know that can do all of that just
Sure.
fine. And some of them might be able to do the mile.
Mhm.
I don't know any of them. 0 people that could do the 400 and the 100 and do everything else.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I know, actually, man, that's what's funny, man. You get older. I don't know very many people that could do the 100.
No,
That's
yes. Unfortunately, if you're not a sprinter, I mean, if you're a sprinter in high school or junior high, yeah, that's you can be in that range. That's but you're still decently fast.
Yes.
You're not winning state or anything, but you are fast.
Yeah.
And you are an actual sprinter for
Well,
sure.
Well,
Yeah.
not
You can
in
be
high
a
school.
good distance runner. Yeah.
Yeah, not in high school.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like you're not being competitive unless you're running low 11s. In high
Yeah,
school.
you got to be low 11s.
Like, I'm talking like you're not on varsity unless you're under 12.
Because I'm thinking back now, no, all of our distance runners could run a 14-second just fine.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Wouldn't have been a problem. Like, no, that's just how he finished the race at that speed.
Exactly. No, that's not. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sprinting aspect is like that's a big separator for people.
Mhm.
Being able to run that fast, that short distance. But the deadlift was no joke. The back squat I could do. The back squat I did last week.
Mhm.
That was just to see, right? It was
Yeah.
hard. Cause I'm not used to doing a free squat. I've been doing but only because I've been training it recently.
Sure.
I hadn't been working on that, last year at this time. I couldn't have done
Mhm.
it. The deadlift I don't ever do, so that was hard. I did 1 rep at 285, and I think 1.5 my body weight is 380, so I got 100
Mhm.
pounds to go.
Right.
That's gonna take some work.
That's a
some
lot.
effort,
Yeah.
But motivating to me, I see it. That's how my brain, like as most guys, you see the percentage, you're like, oh, I'm that,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna get to be that top whatever percent of
Yeah.
people. So dumb. Okay, so real talk then. Bloomsday training. You did some. Okay? Screw you for a minute because you're in such better shape than I am that it's really frustrating. So
Oh man,
I
I'm scared.
I can.
I'm scared right now still too. Like I'm
Oh,
actually
me
just
too.
scared.
I'm beyond scared. I completed my backflips.
Hmm.
I will say push-ups this last 2 weeks have been really hard.
Yeah.
They're just so hard. Doing any amount of push-ups is so difficult.
Yeah, I'm
I'm like
sure. Yeah.
trying to get 30. I'm like, oh, this is exhausting. But like,
Well, we talked about
so
it before, right? We talked about that
yeah,
last time. You did
I
1,000.
think I did 1,000. Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked
you did
about
1,000 push-ups in one day. It's like, yeah, you can
that.
have a
And
little recovery from that.
it's just, I guess I was surprised because I wasn't that sore from it. Like,
Hmm.
really, I wasn't very sore, but like, I'm exhausted. Still,
Yeah.
push-ups are exhausted. But now I got to start doing this running training, and
Hmm.
we've been talking about it. You've been very consistent and very focused and doing all these things. We're scared about the time, but you sent me some workouts since we last recorded that you're doing, and you did one that was 2 miles at 6:30 pace 3 times.
Yeah.
And
And was it
serious
6:30? I think it was
six
6:30. Might have been
yeah,
6:15.
no, it was 6:30.
Okay.
Um
Yeah.
so you send these to me and I'm like, what I need to be doing is just getting some mileage,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
I don't need to be doing tempo work. I've been doing a lot of speed work for my sprints and for my backflips, but I haven't been doing a lot of mileage. So I just need to go outside or hop on the treadmill, which is really unmotivating. I don't want to hop on the treadmill at all. Like
I've been doing so much of it.
it's
Miserable.
so unmotivating. And I tried last week and I stopped because I'm like, I don't care to be out of treadmill right now. So I need to be putting in mileage
Hmm.
and flow. It doesn't matter how fast. I don't need to be doing speed work. I just need to put in miles. And then you're texting me all of this speed work and tempo stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I should do that too.
Right.
So I went out last week. I did a workout. I did some intervals so last Friday I did some intervals here at the gym, and I'm like, I want to do something, but I don't want to run for a long time on the treadmill.
Hmm.
I can't mentally do it. So let's do some like quarters or halves. I had no structure. I have no plan. I did a quarter mile at, I don't even remember my pace. It was like 6:30 or something. I did a quarter mile, did like 2 or 3 of those. And I did a half mile because my guy can hold it longer, whatever. I'm just like messing around, doing nonsense. And then I'm done. I don't care anymore. I don't know. I did enough. I hop out. I go outside because I'm hot and sweaty. And I'm like, I feel good out here. Yeah, I didn't come prepared to run outside. It's like 40, maybe 38,
Okay. Yeah.
something. That's under 40. It for sure was under 40, actually. So I hop outside. I'm like, oh, I feel good out here. I'm in shorts and a tank top, but like,
Mhm.
I can go run 2 miles.
Yeah.
Right. So I leave the gym. I start running. And because I was just doing speed work on the treadmill, my pace goes right to 6:30
Yeah.
because I'm warmed up. I'm ready to go.
You just fall into the pattern. Yep. Exactly.
And I'm trying, and I'm intentionally like, don't run fast. Just go out, run a mile, run back, run
Mhm.
outside. I haven't ran outside in like 3 months. Like, let's just
Right.
go outside, get my lungs used to it. And I go out, and I'm getting like a little colder, and a little colder, and I'm like, okay. First mile's okay. I did it in like it was 6:47 or something. I'm like,
Mhm.
this is too fast. I wasn't supposed to do it this fast. And
Yeah.
I turn around and I come back and I'm like, oh no, I'm done. Like my
Yeah.
body's spent and now I'm like cold and it started to snow.
Oh man.
So I wanted to stop the entire way back. I'm like, just get to this point, get to this checkpoint and
Right.
stop and walk for a second. Like, I don't have to do this. This is not
Yeah.
like, I have nothing to prove. I'm just getting back into running. And but I'm like, but if I stop, then I'm in a t-shirt, I'm in a tank top and shorts in the snow.
Hmm.
So don't stop. So I think my second mile was still like same, like 6:40 something. Cause I'm
Yeah.
like, just get back to the gym. Cause like my hands are going numb and I'm
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. It's been brutal. So my plan, first of all, I really like my plan in one way is that it got rid of the really slow stuff. So, which I like. So my other plans have always been like, and now run at 10-minute pace or 12-minute pace or whatever. And like,
Yeah.
it always feels first of all, I noticed my heart rate actually higher at a 12-minute pace than it is at an 8-minute pace. So I almost like it's difficult to run that slow. And
Repeat that. You notice your
okay,
heart rate. What?
yeah. So I noticed my heart rate at a 12-minute pace. My heart rate actually tends to be higher than it is at a closer to like an 8:38-minute pace.
Right.
So just because my cadence is off and everything, and like I'm not
Yeah.
running as smooth or efficiently, so I like that this plan doesn't have anything like that. So everything in my plan basically has 8 minutes is about the slowest pace I ever run,
Yeah.
and then goes up from there and doing a lot of work around 6 flat. So we're doing a lot of speed things right around it, but we're playing between 8-minute and 6-minute, and that's it. And it has me running 6 to 7 days a week.
Nice.
And so, anyway, I'm just more familiar with a workout plan like that. It mimics very much how I was trained years and years ago. So it feels really comfortable to get right into that. So I like that a lot. But I'm doing so much work at 6-minute, like around 6-minute pace. That's really, really difficult. And so, but it's working. But man, my hard days, I'm not used to working hard days this hard. Like where I'm used to doing like one a month where I'm like a quarter of the way in, like, I don't think I survived this, but that's fine. I'll try it again next month, And now I'm like,
right.
I'm doing 2 a week that I'm not sure I can finish, and usually, and these days usually fail. So like that, yes, I did, 2-mile intervals, 3 of them total. Rest in between doesn't matter, but do them at 6:35 pace. And first one felt like, oh, that was really hard. And I'm treadmill running, which is also brutal. But I don't know I'd be better outside either. I mean, it's cold out right now, and you got snow out there, and like I don't know I could do this outside either.
No.
And but getting the first one down, okay, second one, like everything in me is like, oh, this isn't gonna work. Especially thinking I got a third to go. Like this is not going to work. Okay, hang in there, just get there. Don't touch that button on the treadmill. You're stuck at this pace. This is what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I've been really diligent about not touching the treadmill. So this is the pace we're going. You either have to do it or you got to get off, but you can't slow down. And I've noticed at that kind of a pace, 6-minute is not harder than 6:15. I can lower it to 6:15. That doesn't give me a break. Lower it to 6:30 doesn't give me a break. It's still just as hard. So might as well do the pace I'm supposed to do.
It's funny, dude, on a treadmill, slowing down never pops in my head. Because of that, it doesn't feel any different.
It doesn't help.
It's the stop or the hop to the side. Like that's what that's where my pull is. That's where like I want to go to, but like slowly hitting buttons, I never even think about hitting buttons. It doesn't even occur to me.
It completely wears you out. It doesn't help. It's like now I'm just not accomplished, and I still feel like I worked just as hard. Like it didn't help, right? So I might as well just done it. This was just as hard. Anyway, so that's it's been really brutal. So on that one, and then the third one, I went and I failed 3 times. So I kept going. I'd go, and then I made it. I think I made it the first. I think I made it a mile without having any issues, and then on the last mile had to stop a couple times and then jump back on, just like hop off, like, okay, don't throw up, okay, go again, okay, don't throw, okay, go again. And then I'm mad at myself, so in the end, then I'm popping it to my treadmill can go to 5:40 pace, and so whenever I have to punish myself, I'm just pump it up to there. I'm like, now you're doing this until you're done. So, they're not very nice to me when I do these things.
You are not very nice to yourself.
No. And then, but these other ones with the 2-minute intervals 8 times, which is way easier than the 10 800s, right?
Yeah.
It's only 8 of them and only 2 minutes instead of 3 minutes. And doing those at 6-minute pace is probably much better training for a 12K than the 10 800s, which is more of training for a marathon.
I did. Yes. When the first time you sent me the 2-minute interval, I think I attempted it and I kept on getting interrupted.
Oh, sure.
I was trying to, and I kept on. It just didn't work. But I did
like
some.
That.
I did like 4 or something, and it felt pretty good.
It's hard, but it does feel like those workouts where you push really hard and then at the end you feel stronger. Like mentally stronger, whatever. And even in it, you're like, you can kind of tap into that, like, that more aggression of like,
Yeah.
no, we're just going to go get this thing, right? And you just like
Yeah.
really just go and you dial all the way in. And something that's been popping into my head as I've been needing to like get more in this, which is weird for me. I've been slowly allowing more and more aggression into my workouts and more competitiveness into things. I've been slowly doing
Right.
that. We've talked about it before, but it's been a little bit focused to just allow more and more of that in. And this one just like when I'm in these intervals, it all of a sudden pops into nothing matters. You are nothing else. You are only a runner that just does this, and that's all you
Yeah.
are. That's your only value. You are nothing. Nothing else exists outside of this. This is it.
Yeah.
And then you fall into that, and then you just become a machine, and you do the thing, right?
Yeah.
And you get done, and you're like, it was cool to go into machine mode. This is just what you do. I run 2 minutes, I stop 1 minute. I run 2 minutes, I stop 1 minute. I do it exactly at this pace, exactly this way, and nothing matters until I'm done.
Yeah.
And then you get done. Oh, now rest of life can now enter back in, But it's like, in getting to focus like it, where like I know you understand from like high school sports, we do that all the time. Where like you get all the way in the zone of I'm doing just this thing, and
high school.
I guess not for you as
Not
much.
high school.
I first experienced that with wrestling. Wrestling was either I'm going to get the snot beat out of me by this guy, or I have to be all right here and everything else shuts out. I can't hear anyone else. I can't see anyone else. Nothing else exists outside of me and this other guy. And that's it. And and that kind of getting to focus like that can be, I think, just really good for you. And it's good for me to be able to dial all the way there. And talk about a great stress reliever too. You let everything else has to go, or you can't accomplish this objective. And anyway, so that particular workout, those workouts, the 10-800s are the exact same thing for me, where it's like, no, you have to dial into just this. And anyway, that's been a fun thing with that.
It's a very interesting mindset that I don't know that I've ever truly tapped into, or maybe I've just tapped into it in a less philosophical way,
sure,
I could say. Because like when we've done the 800s in the past, it's always you get to a point where like this just happens,
right?
But in college, I mean, because you reference high school, for me it was college, because high school I didn't do workouts, I pulled it, and that's it. I was always hurt or something, so I didn't really do many actual workouts. But college I did lots of workouts, and that was more just like, I don't know if I ever tapped into that. It was just turning off. I mean, I guess it is turning off the brain of like, well, this is just what happens. You don't have a choice to do anything else.
Sure.
But it never like you're gonna be. It was never a competitive aspect of it. It was just like accept that this is life right now. Which I guess that's what you're describing.
It's
I guess I never thought about it too much.
Yeah, I think it's only different just because that like literally that voice started popping in my head of like no, this is it. That's all.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else. And
that's such an interesting way.
And then what's also then comical is then Christy's doing these things with me, and I'm talking her through those things a little bit too. And like in general, I know this drives Kat crazy because I get into generalities of male versus female things a lot of times as far as motivation goes. But it is so clear right there that like I go into machine mode. It's not anger; it's anger adjacent, right? It is full. It's aggression. It is full aggression, right? So it's aggression without the anger, but it is sitting right in that. It's right in that line, right? And for Christy, that's not there at all. And so we're doing our 2-minute intervals, and she's picking her pace, but we're doing the same thing, 2 on, 1 off, right? So we both jump off the treadmill at the same time, and I'm kind of talking her through her, like encouraging her the way my brain's encouraging me.
Yeah,
like,
right.
This isn't working for you at all. Huh? I feel like I'm just being mean right now. You don't need to listen to me. So it's happening in my own head.
That anger adjacent doesn't usually work for me. It's especially because it's an endurance thing. It's still an endurance, which for me is like turn the brain. I need to get meditative. Turn the brain off to where it's not functioning, and then my body can just do what has to be done.
Well, there's our difference, isn't it? Because for me, that's not endurance. This is a sprint, right? that is the difference, right? Is for me, I'm tapping into the thing you're tapping into when you run 100 meters, right? That's what I'm doing because I'm only going 2 minutes at a time, right? So This is all out, everything you got right now. That's it. And for you, it's like, I got a long ways to go. I'm just going to relax here and maybe listen to a podcast.
But well, yeah, and that's another thing is that we've identified in the past. The thing is, I can't listen to anything when I get
Right.
in when things get that hard. My heart rate gets into the yellow and the red. I'm above 150, 160. If I'm over that range,
Mhm.
I tune out everything.
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm listening to. So like music, podcasts, it doesn't matter what's in my ear. So like half the time, if I'm on a run outside and it's really hard, I just take my headphones off because it's
Sure.
not helping me in any way.
Mhm.
Like I need to, in fact, it's kind of distracting because it's pulling me in and out of my run. So like,
Yeah, I get you.
but it's still, even though it's intervals, it's still endurance though, because it's still like your heart rate doesn't go down, like you get
Yeah.
the quick rest and then you're still there. So like, that's why it's endurance to me,
Right.
because you don't get, and it's worse than normal endurance because you have to stop.
Right. Totally.
You don't get to just keep going. So then your body's like, oh, we're done. We've talked about before. Like anytime intervals, man, you stop and my body's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, you're not. You gotta
The
go.
stops. The stop start is so hard. But the funny thing that I'm going through now is because I've been doing so many speed intervals, then today was supposed to be a negative split 6 miles. So
Okay.
6 miles, start at 7:30, end at 6:30. And so should have been great. Should have gone on there and taken off. And 7:30 pace should feel really relaxed right now. And I don't even have the issue. Again, I did it indoors, so I just set the speed, and I don't have the issue that I would outdoors, where I might accidentally take off at 6:30 because I've just been doing so much of that speed. So none of that problem at all. Man, 7:30 felt hard today. Like it felt so hard, and I went and I'm like, when do I get? I know I don't get to jump off. I don't get to do that. Like I just got to go at this speed and then slowly make it faster for 45 minutes or whatever it's going to take me to run 6 miles, and anyway, doing that. Failed miserably today. Real honestly. It wasn't even, that should not have been a hard run. And I got 2 phone calls at a mile and a half in that I actually had to jump off and take.
Yeah.
But even at that point, I was like, I was just starting to fall into like, okay, maybe I can, okay, you're okay. This is going to work okay. Because you're thinking of that, I got to end up at 6:30 pace. And at 7:30, if this feels hard, I'm only a half mile in. At 5 miles at 6:30 pace, I'm going to feel like there's no way this works. And, anyway, so today, I was doing that. Yeah, so I had to jump off for that as I start, and then I got, okay, I'm just gonna get on, and I'm just gonna do 5 miles now, still doing the same thing. I'm just gonna do that, and I made it another 2 miles and just didn't have it. Like it was not there, and maybe I just need another recovery day. Just sometimes it's just not there.
Right.
But also, I think that I'm just in my head now with doing all these different things. Is I don't have a consistent thing that I'm there, and I haven't really done just a 6 mile run. In a while. I've been doing all this other stuff. And so, a whole different thing to then just get my mileage in.
Well, and that's what's hard for me on the treadmills in general, is I've done over the years, most of my treadmill work is always an interval of some kind, whether it's a mile or a tenth of a mile or anything between. And so I'm always like that. I'm looking for the jump off. I'm looking for, that's when I do my,
you were mentioning that the jump off is like it's too much in your head of like wanting to like it's just there. Yeah, I get
exactly.
it. Uh-huh.
The run I used to do a lot when I was feeling my fastest years ago. It was the negative split that I've always talked about, where I go 5 miles, but that negative split, every mile I got a hop off, and my rest time got shorter and shorter and shorter because I kept upping my speed, and I was going off of a distance was my rest. And so, but it was still a jump off. It was still, a hop off. It was still an interval every.
It's 1 mile it's still 1 mile intervals is what it really is. Yeah.
Oh, it kills me. And so to do anything over a mile where it's straight, I have to. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't not. So
it's gonna help to do that. We're still in like 6 inches of snow, and I can't wait till I can run outside a little better. It's gonna be really good. I think it's all gonna come together once I can run outside.
For sure. Well, I'm curious to see how these different perspectives you and I are going to play out when it comes to race day, because you have this regimented program that you're following here, and I'm just I'm trying to run sometimes, and and then you text me some of your workouts. I'm like, oh yeah, I should try that.
Right.
In all seriousness, no, I do have a little bit of regimen.
Okay.
a tiny bit. I did my last on Sunday. I did my first what will be like my Bloomsday training run.
Sure.
And so I didn't make it the whole way because I haven't ran outside or this distance in a long time. So it was just,
Right.
I did. I think it'll end up being just over 8 miles
Okay.
total with
Mhm.
2 big hills.
Nice.
1 mile in is get about a mile in is the first hill, and it's like I think it's 0.8 of a
Mhm.
mile up the
Mhm.
hill, and like steep. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the hill that you run down in Bloomsday? The
Riverside.
first one, river. It's like going up Riverside.
Okay. Sure. Mhm.
So I don't know length, but about that actually it might be steeper even. It's a really steep
Mhm.
hill. So anyway, so it's that hill up, and they have a little bit of a plateau, and they have to run down a smaller hill, and then
Mhm.
all. So I just did little over 5.25 was the distance
Okay.
I did. But first time I ran a big hill like that, and trying to really build in the speed of the downhills. That
Right.
I take advantage of those because I know that wore me out last time. Because I wasn't
And that
used to
will
doing.
be that is a key feature that I think is often forgotten, is that if you
Yeah.
can take advantage of your downs, because the
Yeah.
faster you can run down a hill, if you've got the leg speed to relax at a really high speed, you can save
Yeah.
a lot of energy and a lot of time. You can pick up a lot of time by going really fast down a hill. Like, it can make a
Yeah.
big difference.
And so my luckily my leg speed is there. It just
Yeah.
has to be there in when I'm done.
Right.
When I
Yeah.
the end of my run. So like luckily that huge hill that I have to go up, I have to go back down it later at the end of
Sure.
the run. And so getting my legs to go that fast, like in the whole time in my head, I wasn't watching my pace, but the whole time in my head I'm like, you need to be going like 5:30. You need to be
Right.
going like
Yep.
5:30 needs to be your pace at least going down. And I think I got it most of the way.
Nice.
Which means I ran mile number 4 at about 5:30 because
Yeah.
most of it's downhill.
Yeah.
You
For sure. Yeah.
But that was my first foray into that distance. And I was giving myself the out of like stop whenever, or walk if you need to. Like, it doesn't matter. I haven't ran this far in a long time, so just
Right.
get it done. It's
Mhm.
kind of, I texted you earlier in that day. Like, it was an intimidating run just because like it's a lot of hills. It feels
Mhm.
really far, and so I'm like, just go. If you got to walk, it's fine. Doesn't matter. But it felt surprisingly okay, and I didn't have to walk, and I didn't have to take unnecessary stops, which
Nice.
means I took full advantage of any light that I hit.
Mhm.
Because
Right.
I'm in the city, but I didn't have to stop outside of any lights, which I was very good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm just getting ready for the same thing. I've got to up my mileage here. Like, that's the next on the plan, is to start increasing my mileage on my easy days also, and all that. And yeah, I kind of feel the same way about it. I haven't been doing much mileage, and I'm a little nervous to put in. I'm supposed to run 9 this weekend. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
geez, I haven't run anywhere near 9 miles in a very long time.
Yeah. So my goal is my unofficial, or my kind of my unofficial plan, or my not written out plan, is to hit my Bloomsday training run ideally once a week, if not every other week,
hmm hmm
and not focus on the speed of it, not trying to race it, but
Right.
just
Just get
do
comfortable
it,
with that mileage. hmm
get comfortable with the downhills, like push the downhills, but don't push anything else. Like,
Yeah.
just get it done, and then do interval work during the week. Do like 1
Yeah.
or 2 runs where I'm doing, 2 minutes, or doing halves or something like that during the week.
It should do a good job. That's often been like I think that was basically what I was doing when I ran it the fastest I have as an adult, which is like 53 minutes. And yeah, and basically that was the pattern I followed. Yeah, I do my normal 6-mile loop, or make it 7, and do that, a couple times, and then get some speed work in the gym. And and it worked well. That got me in great overall shape, and then you could just perform pretty darn good, and that's where it was at.
And I only have time to run probably no more than 3 days a week anyway. Like that's probably my max right now, just with my schedule. Man, Tuesday, I did my, I'm still doing my heavy leg day with my plyometrics, but I'm catering it a little bit more towards running and towards like some stability and stuff.
Sure.
And so I'm doing like I was doing these ladder jumps, these plyo ladder jumps to like high box jumps. So now I'm doing those single leg, and I'm incorporating a full stop in between. So single leg ladder jumps, but where you pause every single ladder on one foot just to work on ankle stability. So anyway, I did legs and heavy legs, and then I went out to do 3 minute and 1 minute off outside,
Right.
and I was only did 4. Like wasn't trying to do a ton. So 4 minutes or 4 rounds, trying to hit 6 minute pace the whole time. And I didn't do it. I got 6:09, 6:15, 1, 6:07, somewhere around there. But I just could not. It felt really good the first 2, and then it was just everything I could do to hang on and not stop. It was so hard. So my legs, and like after a heavy leg day, especially, it was.
The plyometric stuff though is going to be the other thing though that's going to help you a bunch for sure, because that stuff it helps so much with your launch between you can just run more effortlessly when you're in good shape for that type of exercise and all those. I need to incorporate that. I got to get the boxes out and then be jumping over them and on them and all that stuff. I need to get springy and light. I've been having too much fun lifting upper body.
Yeah. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I haven't done any of that recently.
I have, and I've put on a lot of weight. But it's like, look how cool my muscles got, it's fun. Like, especially when you see a difference in a day where like, you just lift and you can just swell up by a couple inches. It's kind of fun.
Chasing that pump.
Exactly. It's addictive. But not helpful for what I'm trying to do at all. Because
really.
I have put on 15 pounds in 2 months. So
wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a bit. I've stopped now though. I'm sitting right at 170, and I've been consistent at 170 for a while now, so that's good. But I do need to. And Christy, I will go and do legs, and of course, like Christy's very strong, and it's fun to then go and just again do heavy weight on legs. And like, okay, that's good to do. I also need to do. I needed to get that plyometric stuff on my legs too a lot.
Here's what you do though: you just pair them together.
Yeah,
that's what I do. I do my heavy legs, and if I'm doing a heavy, which I guess we don't have too many like hardcore fitness professionals that are going to yell at me about this because it's not like the ideal way to do it. But
sure,
like I pick one heavy thing and I pick a plyo thing and I do them together.
Yeah,
and I pick another heavy thing and a different plyo thing and I do them together. Like it's just it works so efficiently and it benefited me so well. Like training up to my back flips and keeping me light and springy and keeping my vertical still pretty good, Because
I don't mind putting on some weight. I just need to stay springy. I need to be light for my weight, right? Like I need to make sure that I still am springy and I'm not operating like I'm heavy, because my actual total weight is not a big deal. But I need to have my bouncy calves and stuff all
and
prepared for
that's
that same size.
And that's what it's gonna come down to is calves, staying light.
Yep, for sure.
But dude, keeping those calves strong and springy is gonna be key. It's gonna be very, very helpful. What else about your plan? Anything else to go over real quick?
No, I think that's about it. So just plugging away with it. Half the time I feel strong and it feels awesome, and half the time it's like, well, I failed miserably, and now I'm scared of this goal that I set because I don't see how this is possible at all.
I know, especially
and I'm alternating
now
like every other day. That's how I feel, So
luckily, I don't feel I feel less scared about it because I think I've taken some pressure off, and I'm like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the treadmill. I'm gonna do my Bloomsday training run and whatever. And then I'm going to try to stay with you on the day, see what happens.
When my plan beats me, it's intimidating, where it's like, well, crap, this is the plan. And if I can't do the plan, then I'm not going to be able to do the thing.
Here's the way to not be disappointed. Don't commit to anything.
Yeah. Well, even my goal is flexible. Like I've been saying the whole time, I'm going to do my best to get under 50. And I'm going to try real hard to be under 48.
I know. Now, especially now knowing that we have to be under 48. Killer.
It's so fast.
It's so fast for so long. 6:20 something for 7 miles.
Yeah, it's really moving.
So
but
stupid.
It'll be fun to try.
Yeah. Well, it was somebody's dumb idea to do this. I don't know who's
somebody's dumb idea. It's probably you. You're the one that usually has these ideas.
I know. Okay. All right. Well, good luck. We'll talk next week. See how
All
it
right,
goes.
sounds good.
All right. Later.
See ya.